Thank you, everybody, for coming to the College Football Betting with Aaron Torres YouTube channel. Before we get to the video that you came here for, if you could do me one quick favor, just click that subscribe button at the bottom of the screen. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow. I appreciate it more than you know. Also, if you want to, click the little bell notification so you know anytime any of our previews go live. We appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. The game with the most intriguing storylines coming in, one of the great rivalries that we have in college football. It is the Red River Shootout, and yeah, we still call it the Shootout here on the Aaron Torres pod and College Football Betting. Listen, solemn swear, as long as I own my own media company, we're calling it the Red River Shootout, darn it. Texas, Oklahoma, Dallas, Cotton Bowl, Texas State Fair, and man, oh man, are their narratives. By the way, Texas is a 1-point favorite, according to Circa Sportsbook, as we record on Wednesday night, always subject to change. That number is down from 3 points just a few days ago. The over-under set at 43. In terms of narratives, there are quite a few. As we record here, we are still on MATEER watch as far as Oklahoma is concerned. If you're listening to the show, you already know Oklahoma's Heisman Trophy caliber quarterback, John MATEER, hurt his thumb a few weeks ago against Auburn, underwent surgery, was expected to be out of this game. But it has been reported that he could be back. Brent Venables was asked about it on the Wednesday SEC press conference. He said, you just got to monitor the injury reports. I don't get the sense that he's trying to pull a fast one on anybody. I think it's really up in the air as to whether he's going to play. So that is one narrative that is worth monitoring. The other narrative is the quarterback at the other spot. One quarterback may play. The other question is, should the other quarterback play? And that's Arch Manning. And so let's go ahead and dive into that. Now listen, because I know we're going to have some Texas fans tune in, and I want to be fair. Arch has not been good. But last week's loss to Florida was not all on Arch Manning. Okay, Arch Manning in that game was 16-29 overall, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But if you are a Texas fan, or if you watch that game, you know it wasn't all just about Arch. Texas, 52 yards rushing. That's not going to get it done. And I understand that they fell behind in that game. But Steve Sarkisian talked about it this week. He said, look, we have a way of doing things. We like to have a running back one and then a guy that can kind of spell him. We can't figure out running back one because of injuries. The O-line can't get into a rhythm. The running back can't get into a rhythm with the O-line. And the run game has really struggled. The O-line, by the way, gave up 6 sacks, last week. So it's not all on Arch Manning. But I'd also be remiss if I didn't say this. Arch Manning has not been good and has not been good enough. Now, I'm not going to do the whole athletic biggest bust in the history of sports, or I think, what did they say? The first ever flop in college football history, which is quite literally the dumbest headline that I've ever seen. But I bring it up because we can't also pretend like none of it is Arch's fault as well. As I said, 16 of 29 passing. This was last week, of course. By the way, completing 60% of his passes, 11 touchdowns on the season. Here's the catch with that, though. Of those 11 touchdowns, 7 have come against Sam Houston State and San Jose State, which means, not great at math, a combined 4 touchdowns against Ohio State, UTEP, and Florida. And we talked about it a little bit on the Aaron Torres pod earlier this week, is that, we're now at, Arch has started 5 games this year and 2 games last year. And I think you could say of the 7 starts, 4 were flat out awful. And if you want to say some of it was on the O-line, listen, good quarterbacks have to overcome stuff. That's part of the deal. And you look at Arch, was not good against Ohio State, was not good against Florida, was not good when he was put in against Georgia last year. At some point, you got to get it figured out. And right now, I'm just going to say it, he's not good enough. It's not all on Arch, but we can't pretend like none of it is on Arch as well. Here's the issue, though. You want to get things fixed with that offense? Oklahoma is quite literally the worst defense you could be doing it against. It's funny. I go back to the Auburn game a few weeks ago. I said after the show, that is the best or after that game, I said, that's the best defense that I have seen all season long. Okay. And you say stuff like that and you don't really know, is that really accurate? Are your eyes fooling you? Whatever. I saw a tweet this week that kind of proved, yeah, that's the best defense in college football. Okay, Matt, you can pop up the tweet whenever. So this is from Mike Hawk, who is the Oklahoma Sports Information Director. He's the media contact. He tweeted on Monday, quote, Brent Venables in March of 2025. Why am I going to be calling the defense? Because I'm good at it. Brent Venables' Oklahoma defense on October 5th, 2025. Currently first in the NCAA in total defense, first in yards per play, first in sacks per game, first in TFLs, first in third down defense, first in punts forced, first in scoring second in the NCAA in scoring defense, first in the SEC, second in pass defense in college football, first in the SEC, second in touchdowns allowed in college football, first in the SEC, second in touchdowns. I could go on and on. When you are basically top 2 in the country in every single category, that is not the defense that you want to have to try to get things right against if you're Texas, and that's the defense that you are going to have to do it against. The question becomes, who is the quarterback you're going to be doing it against? And I'm curious about this Texas defense, one, in general, but two, especially if they have to play John MATEER. Listen, it is a different team with MATEER versus without him. I don't think that's like some rocket science, brilliant thing that no one has ever discovered before they listen to this podcast. But I am curious about this game, how it looks. But I'm also curious, frankly, how that Texas defense looks after last week. We know Texas's offense is elite. We thought Texas's defense was elite. It simply wasn't good enough. 457 yards for the Florida Gators last week. 298 yards passing from DJ Lagway. 157 yards rushing is the part that would concern me, including about 4.5 yards per carry. Now, if you're looking for a positive from the the Texas performance on defense, it's that basically, listen, do you ever want to fall down 22-7 in any game? No, you don't. But after the half, you gave up 1 touchdown. That was a fluke Dallas Wilson play where he broke a bunch of tackles. We thought he stepped out of bounds. He didn't step. So the defense was actually good after about the first 3 or 4 possessions. Doesn't excuse the first 3 or 4 possessions, but it is worth noting. As far as the defense, I think what will be especially interesting is even when MATEER has played, Oklahoma really hasn't run the ball very well. Currently coming into this game, they are 77th in rush offense. And what's interesting, it's actually interesting about both of these teams, is that basically 97th in the country in rush offense. And what's interesting about that from the Oklahoma perspective is that John MATEER is their second leading scorer, and of their 10 rushing touchdowns, he has 5 of them. I should mention, by the way, Arch Manning is actually Texas's leading rusher as well. So a lot going on in this game. Let's go ahead and get to our pick. All lines, again, provided by Circa Sportsbook. Circa's line, as I said to begin this segment, Texas a 1-point favorite. The over-under is 43. I'm going to take the under of 43 in this game. That is my official best bet. Reason why is pretty simple. Listen, the Oklahoma defense is insane. I think as long as MATEER, whether he comes back this weekend or as long as he's healthy for a good chunk of the season, I think Oklahoma's going to the playoff because I think this defense is so freaking good. And so, again, I'm not going to pile on Arch. There's enough of that going on right now. This is not the defense to get right against, though. There's even in the SEC, there are some defenses that you can get right against. Arkansas, Tennessee, even Kentucky. Many of those teams on Texas's schedule later in the year. Oklahoma is not the defense that you're going to get right against. And I just think at this point, it's when can you get back MATEER and can you kind of hold on from this point on? Why I'm not taking Oklahoma outright, though, or Oklahoma +1. I mean, you would obviously just take the money line at that point. To me, it's pretty straightforward. We don't know if John MATEER is playing, but even if John MATEER plays, they have not run the ball very well all season long. And so I think if you become one-dimensional, that's how Texas's defense gets right. Last week, to Billy Napier's credit, like we can criticize Billy Napier for whatever, but to his credit, there was balance. Lagway was awesome. The run game was awesome. They kept Texas on its toes. I don't know that Oklahoma runs the ball well enough for them to keep Texas off balance on defense. And so to me, even if MATEER plays, this feels like a 20-7, 20-13, 17-13 type game. And then if MATEER doesn't play, it might be like 10-7, 7-3, 3-0, something like that. So I just bring it up because to me, I think the best bet is going to be the under 43. I don't even know that John MATEER being healthy necessarily changes that a ton for me. That is my official pick in the Red River Shootout, Oklahoma, Texas under 43.